Hello, guys. Hello, my friends. We are here together again for mais one English Brazil International. And today we have the pleasure to have as our guest, Roseni and Bruce. Roseni and Bruce, I knew Bruce, I think 4 years ago on Meetup. I was looking for English class, and then there was this guy called Bruce, and then I added his cell phone number to my cell phone. And when he talked to me, and then what? It is America, Native America talk to me. I can't believe that. So I start talking with Bruce, and then I start with English Brazil. And after that, we started a friendship, even though we didn't know each other personally. But I had the opportunity to know not just Bruce, but also Roseni. We had a lunch together when I went to São Paulo, I think in 2023, and I went to his home, beautiful home. Thank you so much for welcoming me there. Okay, and yeah, we even though we don't see each other on regular basis, but we are like we are like brothers, brothers. My brother, my sister. Okay, Bruce, Rosani, please, the words are yours now. Okay, tell us a little bit about you guys and about your lives. Oh, Rosani is the boss.
He's going to start. Okay, well, I'm from the United States. I'm from a state called Michigan and a city called Grand Rapids. And right now the temperature is about in Celsius, probably about a -5. A -5. No, I'm sorry, about a -15, -15 degrees. So it's really fun to be in the snow when you're a kid, but when you're an adult, it's not so much fun. And so I'm happy to live here, although it's really hot in Sao Paulo right now. But I'd rather have a little bit of heat than too much cold. In the United States, everything is central heating, central air conditioning. That's a lot of waste of energy because you're heating and cooling rooms that you don't occupy. So it's a little bit strange. But anyway, that's where I'm from. And um, I was the one that started English Brazil, but I could not do it with everybody else. With Adenilson, Simone, Eric, Renato, everybody. There are many people here that are part of English Brazil on a regular basis. They're part of the team. So those of you who are not part of the team yet, just think about it for the future. Even as an influencer, somebody that goes to the meetings, they don't get paid any money, but they go there to practice their English and to help other people with their English. Because when you speak with a higher level of English, it helps the other people to listen and mimic. And that's the name of the game when learning another language, is you need to mimic what you hear. And so when you're watching videos, you can listen to that, but then you need to say those words and try to speak with those same intonations and pronunciations so that other people can try to understand you. And that's the game. Conversation is confirmation of your language. And that's the essence of English Brazil, is that we talk, and we don't have corrections in the conversation sessions, but as you talk and people reply, it's like, okay, they understand you because they're replying to you. And sometimes they look at you like, huh? What? I don't understand you. Then you know that you're not speaking correctly or their English is not good with the listening part. But, that's what it's all about, having fun with English, using this language, because I think most of us know a second language, and English is probably your second language, where it's my first language. With Roseni, it's her, how many languages you know? Your turn.
Hi, you guys. It's so good to be here and see your faces. And I know Meg and Vlad. I know them. And I also met Adenilson, but I think that's it.
Yeah, Simone's coming this year, I think.
Yes, but I hear a lot about you, Simone. Just such a pleasure to meet you in person. Thank you.
I think that you met Roseni 5 years ago because
Oh, yeah.
I met Bruce at least 5 times here in Santos. Yeah, And I met
true.
you when you went to the church. Yeah. Do you
So true.
remember?
I
Yeah,
met you.
that was in 2018, 2019, something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
you had a birthday a few months
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, 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 yeah. Bruce
I
was
was not able
there.
to go. Yes, I was not able to go. They said it was a beautiful, beautiful birthday.
Yeah,
So,
beautiful feijoada. Okay, it's you lost
yes,
the chance to eat a very good feijoada. So it was almost a year ago.
yes, yes. So it's nice. It's very nice. So, um,
Yeah.
I was born in Brazil and I went to United States when I was 18 years old. No, in fact, I was in Northeast Brazil when I was 18 and I got to United States when I was 20. I got a scholarship from some people, some missionaries, and they were working in Juazeiro do Norte. So before I went to the United States, I spent 2 years in the Northeast Brazil, in Ceará. And I was in the United States for 10 years. I got back to Brazil in 1990. And when I was in the United States, the idea was to get to get a master's in music. But my bachelor's in Brazil was education. So I need to work another bachelor's there. What is not hard because they have just so many. It was a full time. I was in the school doing the whole day. So they said I was supposed to get 12 units. That's what a student would get it. But you guys, for Brazilians, we work all day and we go to school all night when you are in Brazil. So having all day to study, I said I can handle 21 units. And so I did. I had 21 units. I ended up getting another bachelor's and then I started the master's in music, but my area was never music. So when I was doing the so-called master's in music, I studied another master's in education. So I finished my master's in education, and as I was doing my master's in education, I studied another master's in what's called cultural studies. I was very interested in cultures. So I think in 2 years, I ended up getting two masters. And then I wanted to get back to Brazil. The idea was to get back to Brazil. Music, I didn't make it. I didn't make it. I just finished that bachelor's. They said, I was, in Portuguese, we call propaganda enganosa because I talk so well. They thought I had a very special gift with singing. No, I cannot sing. So they said, well, Brazilian, no, I played the piano. She thought, oh, she's a pro in piano. Well, I could not play the piano as much as they wanted, so I didn't make it. So I did get my bachelor's in music as a conductor. That was the maximum I could, a choir conductor. So got back in Brazil as a teacher. I started a school called El Shaddai. So I taught English in many companies and it was nice. I liked it what I did. Then I met Bruce in 2006. He got back. 2006 was when you moved here in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought, well, people will like much better to have English classes with a native American than with me. So I started taking him to the companies, and he started then teaching in the companies, and I was, what is the word? In Portuguese we saying, eu fui trocada.
I was replaced.
I was replaced. I was easily replaced. Easily I was replaced. And then I started doing something that I have a special law for. That's a project called Celebrate Recovery. So Bruce continued with his dream to have Brazilians speaking English. That was what was in his heart. I think it started later. I don't think you came to Brazil with us with this goal.
I came here to survive.
And then I started Celebrate Recovery, and that's what I do. I work in this project for CR in Bruce with English speaking, reaching Brazilians as they need to learn another language.
Wow, that was an amazing introduction. I was just like, I'm gonna raise my hand for the first question, but now I had tons of questions, but I'm gonna keep short. First of all, Roseli, I would like to thank you. Because of you, we all got Uncle Bruce here with us. And you're the reason. I mean, there's many reasons because of you, actually. Okay, so my question is, even if Bruce was already living in Brazil and you had the experience abroad living in his country, let's say, tell us which were the most difficult things that you had to brace together as a mixed couple. In Brazil, it's okay. I know there are lots of mixed couple in Brazil, but I'm really talking about the culture. You being a Brazilian and him an American.
Oh, I love this question. I'm going to share two things. One is that we Brazilians, we read the air. We know what's going on. We have this, Japanese, Brazilians, we know what to say, when to say. We don't, the thing start at 7. We know that it's rude to be there at 7. The host will not be ready for us. So we get a little late, for the cultural thing and our jokes, we read the air. And Americans, they are wonderful. I love Americans, but they don't read the air. They can say things that are so off, so different, It has nothing to do with their education. It's just like they don't read the air. So reading the air is one thing, and the other thing is the clothing. I think that Brazilians are much more Brazilians. We are more European. We for sure, Santos, we go with shorts, but in a restaurant, we could even use some dressy shorts, and we dress well. We don't put tennis shoes in socks to go to some places. And so the first years was very hard in this regard. He's more careful now, with this area. So I think these two things, Simone.
Are you saying you were getting embarrassed by him going to places?
No. Now he's much better.
Because she demanded, no, go back and change.
No, it's not. It's not true. When the rubber hits the whole road, I do say no. I'm not going to grass like this.
Okay.
But it's rare. It's rare. No, now he has the senses, of what to wear. It's much nicer. And he's also getting reading the air a little bit more.
Yes, of course. One of my questions you already answered, but I kind of felt already the answer in the beginning. I know who's the boss. Anyhow, let's go, Renato. That's clear. Okay, Renato, go.
Yeah, Roseni, Bruce, nice to see you here. And well, I know that you have interesting histories about Bruce, about army, about your life in army, in your life in Germany, and Roseni, because your job in the church. Okay, so could you both explain a little bit about for us, about your job, about your involvement, about your approach with these activities?
Yes, I'll start. So my since I met Bruce, I started. I think right after we were married, I started studying. I love to study, and so I had these degrees in the United States, but I never had a degree from Brazil. No, probably my BA, my first BA. So psychology is something that always got my attention. So I ended up having a course in psychoanalysis. Was 3 years course, and then I did one more year and a half with a post-graduation in psychoanalysis. And that's what I do, for a living. That's my that's how I make my money, So so I have a lot of clients, and the clients I have from all over the world, So I have clients from London, from Australia, Maggie, and I have Vienna, many places, Dubai, and so I love what I do. In I say I love what I do, but what I call that's my calling has to do with Celebrate Recovery. It's very linked together. I think I got to know CR first, and then I started going in psychology, in psychoanalysis. So it's a project that started in the United States for everybody who wants to deal with a hurt, a habit, or a hang-up. In português, we translated as trauma emocional, mau costume, e uma compulsão. For anybody who wants to deal with any of these. And it has been wonderful. It has been very special to see people coming from so many places, because church used to be a place where I could share my weaknesses, my vulnerabilities. It started like this when Jesus was here. But then it became like an elite. Church became like an elite place where if there is one place I cannot tell how I am, it's in the church. It's terrible. If there is a place I cannot say, well, I'm dealing with pornography, I'm dealing with
anger. Sometimes I get a little angry. But I go to a meeting for that.
Food addiction, so that's what CR is. It's a place for anybody who wants to deal with anger, with control, with food addiction, food addiction, and things like this. So I would say that's the real church.
Okay, great, yeah. And you, Bruce, that you are so younger than me. What do you intend to do in the next 3 years after going to the army and living in Germany?
Well, yeah, I lived in Germany for 13 years, but I don't speak German because I lived in the American community. I can speak a little German. I can eat. Okay, I will survive. I can tell them what I want to eat, on the menu. I like this. But speaking in a conversation like now, no. But I did that for 20 years so I could retire and get some money for the rest of my life. And that's why I did it. And so that worked out good. But living here in Brazil, after about 7 years, I started asking myself, why do people still want classes? They speak English, but they want to become very fluent. And so, okay, I taught classes for a long time, but then I started thinking, I think I can create a meeting for these people to come together and just talk in English, having fun, and so on. So we started going to places like Starbucks, cafes, okay, places to buy coffee and things like that. And they would have conversations, and people really liked it. That was like 2013, I would think was the first one. So over 10 years ago, we started that. But then we had the pandemic that caused a big change. And so now everything's pretty much online. We have some presential meetings that happen, but it's not very many. One's in Santos where Renato's participating, and one is in Sao Paulo. And we have some in other places too, like Porto Alegre, Victoria, but they don't happen on a regular basis. But, English comes naturally when we just use the language. So when I use the language and I speak, you reply to me or you don't. If you don't reply to me, it's like I repeat myself. If you don't reply to me, then I say, okay, what am I doing wrong, or what don't you really understand what I'm saying? So I understood that conversation was a natural transition from just trying to use the language to becoming more and more fluent. And so for those of you that are speaking now, you understand that process. And so that's what we use in English Brazil. And so I've been doing this for some years now, and I'm looking for somebody to take my place. Any volunteers?
Yeah. It was a challenge for you to change from English merchant to English Brazil. I remember that I split the job, the project, and I have to not to
Well, yeah, it
restart,
started
but
out
I have to
as
share.
you guys remember, you guys know what munch means? Munch means to eat.
Yeah,
Okay.
to taste.
So the idea was to eat and speak in English. So that's why we got together at cafes. So then I had two people, a boyfriend, girlfriend, they wanted to create exclusively a school. And I said, no, we don't want that. We want to have a community with things happening, all kinds of things happening. So right now, that's what we have. We have more of a community than just a school. So I call us a hybrid school, but we're an English community where we have different activities like this one here, English Brazil International. This is because the idea, and Simone and I talked about this, Brazilians need to hear accents from around the world, because you don't know when you start working in an international company if the people are going to be from Africa, if they're going to be from Australia, from England, the United States, South, wherever they're from, they're speaking English. Because even if it's a German company, they're speaking English inside the company. Unless it's the higher level in a German company, then they speak German. Or in a French company, they speak French, like with the CEO talking to the CFO. Normally, there are French people. But many times, it's other people from around the world working in that company, and they're speaking English, but they're using different dialects. So this is the purpose of English Brazil. Besides making you guys more fluent in English, is to expose this group of people to the accents from around the world. So, because some of you are not from Brazil, okay? And when you speak, your English helps them to associate the sounds with the ideas. Because for the first time, I say, huh? What? What are you saying? Okay. Would you like a cup of tea with your crumpets? Okay, that's my British English.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
would you like a cup of tea with your crumpets? Crumpets are like little cookies. Okay.
Yeah.
And
I
the British,
remember
they
in
drink.
oh, sorry. And one of the last speech that I lead here in English Brazil International, I talked the word, I spoke the word kilometer and spoke the word kilometer. I said, oh, come on, how I'm talking kilometer? But then I remember that I worked for 5 or 6 years in a Swedish company, and the Europeans speak kilometer, and the American people say kilometer. So how I'm speaking kilometer. Okay, so that's a kind of thing that make me remember the time that I worked for that company. Yeah, that was a funny thing, and I think that's a different pronunciation and accent, even accent. Yeah. Okay, great, Bruce.
Thank you, Renato.
All right, Ismael, he's ready with a question.
Hello, Bruce and Roseni. Nice to see you. I want to make a question to Bruce about learning English. That makes me wonder. I have some friends who doesn't want to learn English because they already speaks. They're using instant translation devices that use artificial intelligence technology. Do you think that at some point in the future, people won't need to learn English or don't feel it's necessary because they use these artificial intelligence translation devices?
This is what I already know, is that you have apps on your phone. You speak in using your language, Portuguese or whatever language you speak, and it comes out with the language you say, I want it to be this language. That already exists. The Japanese created that, I don't know, about 2 or 3 years ago that I remember. And maybe other people have already got this going on too. But with the AI, it's very possible that this could be the case. You don't need to speak the language that they speak, but you can speak into your app and it does an automatic translation. So they can hear your words in their language through your phone on an app. I'm pretty sure that that exists already. And I'm sure it's not very expensive, but it's not cheap. And so that's a possibility for you. That is a possibility. I like to just talk and not worry about having an app to translate for me. But when you're traveling, that's a good way to get around. That's a good way to have your communication go to the people and they could, understand what you want. I mean, the other thing is you type in what you want and show them in their language, with the translator. But the AI is going to transform a lot of this where you don't actually need a person to translate for you or learn your language. No, you can just speak their language using the AI. That's going to be a reality very widespread in the short future, I'm sure. But I still like to learn the other language, like Portuguese. I'm happy that I can speak Portuguese. I don't speak fluent like a native, but I can understand enough to communicate and get anything I want done. And so I consider that sufficient for me. I'm not trained to be a Portuguese professor. That's not my objective. Just the word I use or the expression I use, communicate effectively. As long as you understand me, that's it. That's all I need.
Let me say something. What's Ismael, right? The one who Ismael. When I taught English here, I taught with a very influential family. Their name was Kamasmi, and this guy was a guy who almost was one of our ministers and I taught his wife, his daughter, and his grandson. And he said, in my company, I expect a person to speak a second language. English is a must thing to work for my company. It was a huge company that they had in the interior. I said, oh, so you use a lot of English? Your company deals with a lot of English speaking. He said, no, we just strictly work in Brazil with Brazilians, with Brazilian staff. And I said, why do you want a person who speaks English? He said something that I will never forget. He said, a person who speaks another language has a much bigger worldview. He's a person that sees things from other perspectives. They are able to understand better things. They are easier to work with because they are not stuck in their own way. And I thought it was very interesting. So no AI will give this to a person. No AI. I know Eric is American too, right?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, I can say he's an American.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I'll tell you a joke. I hope that Bruce and him will not be upset. But like they say, a person who speaks many languages is a polyglot, right? A person who speaks 2 languages is the bilingual, and a person who speaks one language is the American. Because nobody learns that language, and I think both of you, Eric is in Brazil and Bruce is in Brazil, and it's unique to see foreigners, Americans, Europeans. No, Europeans, they speak many languages. The way they see things is different.
Well, Simone's Brazilian and European.
Well, yes, it's different, Simone. But learning another language gives you a worldview that is different, and AI will never going to provide that with a little tool, because you're just dealing with, you are not talking, interacting, thinking in a different way. And even the way they say, when I first learned English, I thought, it's so strange because Americans say, I'm sitting down. And I thought, my goodness, is there any way to sit but down? And then they'll say, stand up. And I thought, my goodness, this is so weird. Stand up. I mean, is there any other way? Well, Americans are like this, very pointed, very, to survive there. For me, the 10 years, is just being sitting down and standing up. It's just very, crisis oriented. That's their culture. It's beautiful, the culture. I'll never be able to do what I do now without having to go through through learning their language per se. So learning a language is not learning a language. Learning a language is learning another way of thinking, another way of coming to resolutions. And can I share 2 things that I learned about the culture? For instance, the North American culture is very linear, is very linear. It's just like, things start, things in the middle, and things at the end. It's very linear. I think the Latin culture is very, we go is very,
Cyclical.
yes, cyclical. We go to something that we don't like. We don't stay there. We just find a we find a way to get out of there. This we are versatile. Precious Americans, they stay there because they were supposed to be there. And I always thought they were more Christians than I am. I learned that's not. They are just culturally like that. And I'm not worse than they are because I'll find a way to get out of there very quickly. Because I read the air and I am educated, polite. I'm not rude. My bird needs to be fed or something. So, this kind of thing, that, AI will not give you this, like the understanding the culture in order to survive there. Yes, it's 7 starts, it's 7 you are there. You finish at 9, and 9 you leave. Vulnerability, I learned that, with the language, Ismael. You cannot be that vulnerable when you are there because it's weird for you to get closer to somebody. I felt so bad about my Brazilian guy friends, because we touch here and there it's considered very rude to touch somebody and to be very close because vulnerability is a weakness there. And for us, is a strength. We don't learn this with AI. I think I talked too much about that.
Thank you so much. Really, thank you so much for complimenting his answer because without that, I think we would not get the whole picture. And I agree completely with what you said. We still are humans and we will still keep being humans. And AI, it's great, but it's not gonna replace us. No. There's lots of emotions that we need to show, and we need that to interact with others. A device will never replace it. Anyhow, Adenilson is ready with a question. Adenilson, please.
Yeah. Who teaches who? It's like if Bruce is trying to persuade the Roseni to speak English, or is the other way around? How does it work?
He said that I'm either going to be married or I'm going to teach him Portuguese. Which one do I want? So she decided to be married, and I didn't learn Portuguese from her. I learned it from the streets. I learned it from you guys. She said, I will not do it. I will not do it.
Yes, I learned, I said, marriage is hard in one language. In one language is hard enough. So let's keep with English, with the marriage. You learn Portuguese somehow.
Guys, I would like to share the place that they live. Roseni, have you always lived in Osasco? Like you were born and raised in Osasco?
Yes.
Since age 4.
Yes, I was born in São Paulo, and I got to Osasco when I was 4. So I've been here for a long time.
So I'm gonna share where Osasco is situated. Most people here we are Brazilian. We have South African here, so I can share where Osasco is situated. It's the metropolitan area of São Paulo. It's really close to São Paulo capital. Tell us a little bit what you would recommend for those who don't know Osasco and they are planning to visit Osasco, the place that they can go, the place that you used to go together.
I think that the place to visit would be Sao Paulo, and there are many places there, many museums, monuments, parks. That's what I would recommend. Osasco is a nice place. That's where we live, and I'm happy where we live. But I think Sao Paulo just has so much to offer.
Which place, Bruce, in Sao Paulo would you recommend to go?
That's Osasco, right?
Yeah, that's Osasco.
I like that. Yes, this is from the window of my home, Adenilton.
This one? This one?
Looks like.
No, there's one here. The Google one. It looks like it's in the
back of our house.
Back of our home.
Oh, really? Bruce, tell us. I don't know if you know, but I gonna stop share. I would like to share another thing. Tell us a little bit about the big hot dog from Osasco. Let me share to
Well,
you guys.
Osasco is known for their hot dogs, and the hot dogs they have mashed potatoes, they have ketchup, mustard, onion, and then they have shoestring potatoes. Do you know what a shoestring potato is?
Nope.
It's batata palito,
Oh,
batata palita.
This is
So
shoestrings potato.
Yes, it's a meal. It's a meal, you guys.
but hot dogs are not that good for us, so once a year it's okay.
It's not true. Once every 3 months is fine.
Okay.
This is the big hot dog, dogão de Osasco, dogão of Osasco.
No,
Yes, it is.
well, maybe one of those, yeah, but
Don't just ask. It is.
okay.
I think that for Gletvin, have you ever heard about something like that in Brazil? Oh,
Well, look, I visited Brazil in 2019.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so I didn't get to know much of the food. I was only there for about like 3 weeks, but I ate largely food that I was familiar with. I didn't get to taste much of the food. Maybe in my next visit.
So you know what you have to order next time. You have to
Yeah,
take
at least I know what
dogão.
I need to order next time when I'm there.
Yep. So hot dogs are known for in Osasco. Yep.
Okay, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Glad and Meg, they are ready with the question?
Yes. So it's such a pleasure to see you guys here. We see each other every now and then at church on Sundays, but you never have time to talk. I never know anything about you guys because you just have the small talks, hi and bye, thousands of people around us, so we don't have really the opportunity to talk, right? So I met you guys in 2013 through the Celebrate Recover, the project where Roseni works, right? So I was there doing the program, and I was making new friends. And then they invite me to go to Roseni in Bruce's place to celebrate their wedding anniversary. And I felt that so different. I never been in a people's place to celebrate their wedding anniversary. I felt so special. I felt, oh, they are a very special couple to have so many friends around them celebrating their wedding anniversary. So my question is, and since then, I was away for 8 years and you return now, so we didn't really have the opportunity to strain our relationship. But I want to know what is special about Bruce for Roseni, and what is special for Bruce about the opposite
For
Roseni about Bruce.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to know what is special about you guys.
Yes. Bruce is I just even get emotional when I think he's a simple guy. He is a good man. Just very easygoing, very strong, but very, it's just like he's simple. I didn't know much Osasco until he came to my life, because I live right in the
Division.
division of São Paulo and Osasco. So it's
border,
easy for
yeah.
São Paulo. It's much easy. And so I know restaurants, I know places there, and he wanted to know places in Osasco, and he got to know Osasco, and very gracious with my friends, because I don't have brothers and sisters, and my parents are gone. And my blood relatives are really far from me. They are in Bahia. My parents were Baianos. And so he understood that the church people, they were my family. And he was very respectful. In fact, I'll tell you a story. Bruce is somebody who likes to help, as you know. He is a servant. His spiritual gift is to serve. So he used to have no problem being at church, greeting people as a greeter, being, when people leave, you would give them a hug and did things like this. So we were in a retreat, and he did this. He would serve water to whoever was speaking. He was a servant. So one guy said, and came and said, "Oh, where is he from?" I said, "He's American." He said, "No, he's not American." I said, "Well, as far as I know, he is American." No, but he said, "I was really hurt by Americans with the way that they would see themselves better than Brazilians, the way they would think that everything that they had was better than us, and they would come in here to teach us something, and he said, having his hug every time I come in heals me. And I feel healed from the previous people that hurt me so much. Having another American that is a servant who treats me with respect, who doesn't think I am from a lower class because I am Brazilian, who does not talk bad about my country, who does not, anyhow. So I think for me, he's this kind of guy, just very easygoing, not arrogant. And when I say this, I'm sure there are Brazilians that are arrogant. I'm sure that there are Brazilians that do all that. Okay, Eric, I'm not talking bad about the culture, okay? There are Brazilians that are just like that. But I think that what I like the most about him is this.
Oh, this is beautiful. Thank you.
My turn. I really respect Roseni a lot for her intellect and her caring for other people. She has a heart to reach out to the people. And we stay at we go to the meetings at the church on Wednesday nights. It's over at 10:30, but then we have a time to have some snacks, some drinks and things. We don't leave there until about midnight every Wednesday night. And so she's dedicated to be there to help other people just by talking and listening to them. And that's why it works well with her with the psychoanalysis, because that's what they do. They listen to people with their problems. So that works well. But it's hard to crack my shell, okay? She has a hard time cracking my shell to understand how to make me a better person, because she can't. I mean, but I'm just saying she's trying to help me with my life with different things. And I listen sometimes, but today I didn't listen to her coming home from the beach. And we were probably an extra 30 minutes or more sitting in traffic because she said, "I think we should go that way." I said, "No, I'm going to go this way." So I went that way. And so we were in traffic for at least an extra 30 minutes because of the traffic jam. It was terrible. So it's hard sometimes with the cultural differences, and I'm strong-willed and she's strong-willed. So it's hard to, come together very gently and sweet, but we try our best. On the weekend, we did a good time at the, just being together. So that was good. So anyway, I just love her for who she is. She's a wonderful person and beautiful, and I love her.
Oh, thank you. You guys are beautiful.
That was really sweet. Okay, Pedro, welcome once again. You have a question, please?
Yeah. First, I'd like to thank especially Bruce and you, Simone, for this opportunity. It's my first time in English Brazil International. I usually participate in the IT classes. And I would like to ask Bruce, why Brazil? Did you already know something about Brazil before coming here? Or it was
Well,
when you arrived
I
here?
didn't really know that much, but I came here for the beaches and the babes. And I live close to a beach and I have my babe. So everything's cool.
I am not the first Brazilian babe, only for you to know. There was one before me. I was blessed to be the one chosen.
Well, he's still living the dream.
Yes. So That's why I came to Brazil. Because I lived in Germany, I traveled around Europe. And so I just thought, well, where do I want to live? I don't have to live in the United States. I don't need to live in Michigan where it's cold. I don't need to live in Washington, D.C., which is where I did live, because it's cold there too. You know, Florida's nice, but then they have the hurricanes. So Brazil doesn't have hurricanes. Brazil doesn't have earthquakes very much. Doesn't have tornadoes very much. You know, it's okay. It's tranquil. I mean, yeah, there's some crime problems, but it's okay. Everywhere has crime, everywhere. That's why I came to Brazil.
I think he answered your question, Pedro. Thank you. Eric.
Hello. So first of all, just to clarify things, because I guess I might have a little bit of a perspective on the differences between America and Brazil. I think things there are just a little bit more like your path to life, through life, is a little bit more straightforward. And when you come to Brazil, very early on in your life, you notice that things can get really bad really quickly if you don't pay attention. And so you're just more likely to go sideways in your path to life. So, like, even when you're a teenager, still living with your mother, you'll still realize that you have to pay very close attention with your decisions. There's not a lot of
Safe nets.
yeah, there's not a lot of safety net, you know? Like you see your parents struggling, you're just like, you know, you just feel the pressure a little bit early on. So you're more likely to go sideways as compared to the US. At least because I was a kid and I got here. The first thing I noticed is how chaotic things can be, how much more chaotic the society is. You just feel the pressure a little bit. It was a clear difference between my life back in the US and my life here. Back in the US, I'm Brazilian. I was raised over there, right? So my question would be like, okay, Bruce, when you were, you know, when you were growing the company, right? What was something that you truly learned after these years of managing English Brazil? Something that you truly learned from the people that you taught, or the teachers that you got, or the people that you've met, the places that you've been with, something that you truly learned from others?
Well, one reason I'm here in Brazil is because of the people. I'm here because of you guys. Okay? I love Brazilians because they're very kind and caring, and they're helpful. So if I need something, I can get it. I can get what I want. Get what I need, because I have a great association and network of Brazilians that are willing to help at any time. I mean, there's a bad element, of course. I've been robbed 3 times, 1 time at gunpoint, actually 2 times at gunpoint, which was terrible. But, you know, in general, I know that my relationships with my friends is much deeper here than it was in the United States. Much deeper. You know, and a lot of that's associated with the church. You know, it's a group of people, but it's also with English Brazil. I mean, it just rolls around all the time with the different groups and associations that you have in Brazil. They're very open to others to join in. In America, there's a little bit of what we call standoffish. Okay, keep your 1 arm distance from me until I get to know you. And then even then, it's not like hello, embrace, you know, embrace or kiss. Doesn't happen often in the United States.
Yeah.
And in Germany,
I mean, people don't even know what their neighbors, like when I was living there, we didn't know much about our neighbors. Here in Brazil, everyone's gossiping all the time. We just know everything about everyone's life, you know? In
yes,
America,
but
it's just not the case.
but with my neighbor is like right next to me. Okay, we share a wall, and the wall is that you can climb over the wall if you had to. But if I say, "Oh, I need some eggs," let me go ask my neighbor. Okay, a lot of times I can get eggs, sugar, whatever I need from my neighbor if I don't want to go to the store. If it's raining or it's too quick, I need it now. I can go to my neighbor and ask, and they'll normally just give it to me and say, "Okay," and then I give it back later. But I'm just saying, this relationship with Brazilians is wonderful. And that's why I live in Brazil, is because of the Brazilian people. Because yes, there are beautiful beaches, but a beach is a beach, although Brazilian beaches are very nice, okay? But I'm just saying that it's not about only the place, it's more about the people than anything else. That is to the reason why I want to stay in Brazil. I can move back to the United States like that. I don't want to. Okay? It's kind of crazy right now to me. I don't like what's happening with the politics and all that, but that's a discussion for another time. And that's another reason to stay in Brazil. I mean, the politics in Brazil are not perfect either by any imagination. No stretch of the imagination. It's just difficult. Politics have a way of doing what they're going to do, the politician, and a lot of times it doesn't align exactly how we are. It's the same thing with religion. And we don't talk about politics, religion, and sex in our groups because they're too polemic. And that's a word in English we don't use much, polemic. We say normally controversial. That's the word we use more than anything else. And
Right.
I don't know if you guys know the word obnoxious. Do you know the word obnoxious? I teach this word because it doesn't get used in English in Brazil with the word obnoxio. Obnoxio is not common in Brazil.
No, it's not so common. Obnoxious
No, I
is
don't.
common in the US.
Yeah,
Pode
well,
ser
in English,
irritante.
it's very common. Obnoxious. It's very common to talk about a situation or people that are this way. They're very irritating people. So a lot of times with politics and religion, sometimes it irritates us. It's like we don't need to talk about those topics. We can talk about other things, many, many, many other things. The objective is to talk in English. So let's focus on other topics. So that's the objective here. So any other last questions here? I don't see any more hands raised. Everybody got all the info they need about us?
Well, I believe indeed that everybody had the chance to ask a question. I was just wondering if Gladwin is ready with a question. Did you get anything that you got curious about that you'd like to ask them? Because everybody else had their turn. All right. Can you check your mic maybe? Oh, because I think he's using his cell phone. He's trying.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. No, not at this stage. I'm just quite interested, quite fascinating, quite interesting, to learn about the academic exposure and all of that, but not at this stage.
All right. I do have a last question. It's about like I think that nowadays people are realizing that they're born in a family and they have this blood, like blood situation that it is very difficult to cut, like to be apart or to let it go, let's say. But most of us, we are choosing our family. And I think that's what you guys do. Like Roseli was saying, I don't have my blood family here. They are back in Bahia. My parents are gone. You don't have children, I'm assuming.
Oh,
So
no.
Bruce has his family in America. So now you have your huge family in Osasco. Can you tell us more about that? Because it is a little bit different, but it's still, maybe it feels much better having your chosen family, let's call it.
Yes, it's like when they have Mother's Day, and they ask for moms to stand. I always stand with no problems. I never have a birth kid. I was never birthed a kid, but I feel like I have kids around. And mom in the United States, it's very interesting. I have 3 ladies that I called mom. I have only one alive. The 2 of them, 2 other ones, went to be with the Lord. And I also have, Bruce's mom. So I think that family, in CR, we say that we have our Reef family, because many of us, our original family, we cannot even spend that much time with them. We are there and we have a meal and we greet them, but we cannot live there for a long time. Sometimes drugs involved, too much gossip, too much control. So it's really special, Simon, to have people that we can have as our own family. In my case, I'm realizing that some people, they are very good friends, but they are not family. They can be friends. In fact, I have a friend who used to call me, oh, she's my sister, she's my sister. And I'm about to have a meeting, to have some coffee with her and say, we are good friends, but please don't call me sister because it messes me up. I think I have a sister and she's not a sister. She's a friend. And I have maybe one or two that I could say that they are like a sister. So it's really nice. There is no way to follow the Lord and be without a family. He says that he puts us into families. We have people that have us as children, and we have people that we have as parents.
Yes, that's what I thought. Because we have a community in the church. Bruce has with us, and he calls himself Uncle Bruce. I think everybody feels like he's open-hearted and open arms, like if anything's happening in their lives, they can go share with him and he's going to be there to help them out. So I think that's very beautiful what you guys do. And on this quote, I'm just going to close meeting because time has passed so fast. And I believe that we will be able to talk for hours and hours without any problem. You shared your living room with us, I'm assuming, and it felt really that like we were there, like that we were there in person. It was really nice. Really,
That's
really
where
nice.
people and they sit down there. Yes.
Well, I want to thank you for the opportunity of being with you. It's so nice to see your faces, to faces with names. I always hear about you, Simone. So good to see Renato again and get to know Gladwin. How do you say? Gladwin?
Yes.
Gladwin
Yes,
and
Gladwin.
Ismael and Pedro. And nice to hear Eric and just to see Meg and Vlad again. So it's just very special to be here. Things, Ademilson is like I hear you almost every day, Ademilson. So nice.
It's part of the family already.
Do you guys want to adopt me?
You are already adopted.
I'm available, please.
So thank you so much for having me, Simone. And the Lord bless a lot English Brazil. It's really beautiful to see what is happening.
Well, I think we are very glad to have you here. I was just telling Bruce and everybody else, like we just turned one, like this program, I can call it. It's been on for 1 year. And I really wanted to have a special month with couples, and you're definitely, I was begging Bruce, please give me a date, send me the video. I have to book you. I have to hear you. I have to see your wife's face. So thank you so much for being there and for helping us out with this and for making it possible, because this is your platform as well, our platform. Because of you, we are able to do this every single week. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. And I'll see you next Saturday.
Okay, bye-bye,
Right?
Roseni, Bruce.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Have a blessed week.
Santos.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.